Hey guys, Philosopher here, and today we're going to talk about how to use Doom, particularly in Alliance War. Now, more and more people are unlocking Doom. Alliances are starting to see more Doom in their wars. I hear from people at all different levels who are like, hey, our guy who's 8 million TCP just unlocked Doom, or wow, our smaller alliance has 11 Dooms, or whatever it may be. And good for you guys. There's a lot of Dooms out there. And what I have seen is the meta has really evolved for how to use Doom in war. So I want to talk about how it's evolved, how I think it's going to continue to evolve, and then, we will also talk a little bit about countering Doom. I'm not going to focus today on how to use Doom in raids. I'll just say use him in raids. He's amazing in raids. He may be the best overall raid character right now. He's just a fantastic raid character, certainly in the top five. A fantastic asset to have. And he's also very useful in the arena. But I think today we're going to talk about war because that's his most controversial topic. So, look, most people, and myself included, when they first unlocked Doom, they just took their biggest, best defense team and they stuck Doom inside, okay? And you know what? I stuck Doom in my Marauders team in place of Sabretooth, who I don't even use, and that worked well in the beginning. And the reason it worked well is no one knew how to counter Doom. And this happens whenever there's a new character or a new team. You always end up getting defense wins because no one understands how to counter the character. And so for a while, I was getting, between 2 to 5 defense wins a war, even a pretty high level of war, using Doom on a team like this. The problem is that people started developing counters for Doom. And you've seen some of them here on the channel. All right, so let's just talk through what some of the very obvious good Doom counters are. We can go from there. So one that you've certainly seen me use on this channel is when I had Doom on the Marauders is Shadowland. Okay, and I link below to my video where I have this massive punch up on a huge Marauder plus Doom team with Shadowland, and it was no problem. I one-shot it, right? And Shadowland is particularly great for that matchup because Shadowland is actually built to counter Marauders. And so the Mind Tricks, for example, do nothing against Shadowland. Shadowland moves first because Marauder is a slow team, and they are able to use this burst damage, particularly from White Tiger, to attack Doom. And of course, her special puts ability block in war for 2 turns, so that keeps Doom from ulting while you are, using those various turns to go all in on Doom and take him down. So definitely a great counter for a Doom Marauders team. But over time, people realized that you also can use teams like Symbiotes against Doom Marauders. You've seen me do that in this channel as well. And that's because Doom spawns Doom bots every turn. That's really one of the downfalls of Doom. Essentially, he does summon a Doom bot on his turn. And that really means that generates a speed bar for the symbiotes. It also can generate speed bar for Axemen, but unlike Axemen, symbiotes have an ability block that they can use right away from Venom on his special, and that's really a great way of shutting down Doom. So these slow teams like Marauders, you don't really see much on high level. So I've seen a lot of people out there, like newer players, who are making fun of the fact that I was recommending other teams to have Doom on. And the reason I'm doing that is because at our level, people figured out how to one-shot a team like Marauders with Doom or something like that. So what are people using now? Well, if you look on my war defense tier list, you'll see some choices that I threw on there. We can look at that now. I link it below, but I have, for example, Astonishing X-Men plus Doom. I do think they are better used on offense. Uncanny plus Doom. Brotherhood plus Doom. These are some that you're seeing, and essentially it's just because people can get away with out having Uncanny or Brotherhood on offense. and they have 9 other good offense teams, and it's a team that is very anti-symbiotes. So if you use, for example, like Uncanny, well, Uncanny is going to have, for example, some elements that are going to make it so that you have to use a different team. So Uncanny, for example, Colossus is going to, have great resistance to any sort of debuff. He gets 1,000% resistance while in defense up, so he's going to resist all those debuffs, buff clears, and things like that. Similarly, the Phoenix Special is going to hide Doom and give him some time where she, puts everyone in stealth. So, that has some ability to give Doom a chance to go. Brotherhood, of course, is super anti-symbiote. Brotherhood has always been a symbiote counter, and that's really because of the blind from the Magneto ult, which makes it so that the symbiotes can't get rolling, can't get their speed bar, can't apply their debuffs, that sort of thing. These are all ways of forcing an enemy to have 2 attacks. Now, you might be saying, like, hey, in our alliance, we have a Doom team and it gets 10 defense wins. Well, at our level, Doom teams are getting 1 shot. And so we're coming up with ways to force a team to spend 2 attacks instead of 1, because often that is the deciding point in a war. But that's starting to change. One thing people are doing is they are also trying to use their spare parts with Doom. People are doing things like, for example, using Shuri with Doom. Why? Because she can generate ability energy, and that ability energy might go to Doom and might allow him to ult on turn 1. In fact, my only loss in our last war was against a Shuri Doom. It just sort of happened. There was some RNG there. It didn't quite work out. People are even using Star-Lord with Doom, trying to do the same thing. Or they'll put Doom with characters like Red Guardian or cleansers or rezzers to try to have it so Doom can get res, or Doom's ability block on him could get cleansed, or the symbiotes can get stymied somehow. All sorts of ways to try to have a bundle of spare parts around Doom to create an additional defense team to free up other characters elsewhere, make your defenses stronger. And I think in the short run, that is where Doom is going to be in Alliance War. But I think over time we're going to start seeing a shift, and where Doom is going to end up is on offense. And why is that? Well, war offense is always stronger than war defense, because you as the human being can pick and choose what targets you want to use Doom against. And for example, you can maximize the matchup. Instead of having him more in a defense where he might get 1 shot, you can use him in a matchup and get a great impact out of him. So what I would just say is I don't expect this to happen right away, particularly if you're at a level where you're not, have everybody on every alliance has Doom. But when at the levels where everyone's starting to have 20 plus players on an alliance having Doom, that might happen sometime in the not too distant future. I think it also is going to depend on what we see in the upcoming patch, how strong Heroes for Hires are. Does that require you, for example, to have Surfer on offense, or to have Inhumans on offense, or other things that might, change your offense teams in some way, or defense teams? I do think we'll see a shift in the meta in the upcoming patch that will impact Doom. But I will say this: I mean, having Dooms as a weapon, and it really can be, I think, matchup dependent how you want to use Dooms for your alliance. In other words, are we punching up big? Are we punching down? What kind of war is this? I think we're still in the early stages here, where Doom is a slow defense to take on. It can be a tricky defense to take on for a lot of people. People haven't mastered this counter, but as they do, things are definitely going to change. All right, guys, I hope you liked this video. If you do, smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and please check out below. We got a Discord where we have all sorts of discussions about Alliance War, and also check out our Twitch stream. Lots of great discussions like this one.